Hello and welcome back. Board development and engagement depends on experience, skills, personality, motivation, and the members' attitudes towards giving. Today, we're going to dive deeper into boardroom dynamics and how different personality traits impact everything from collaboration to pledge fulfillment. We each have very unique personalities that determine a lot about how we make decisions, what kind of lifestyles we lead, what our roles in work, and our approaches to how we work in groups. Our personalities greatly influence communication, and it's especially evident in the dynamics of the boardroom. You already know about the personality traits that go along with extroverts and introverts, and we're going to just use the kind of classic definitions of those groups. But have you heard of ambiverts? So simply put, these people display an adaptive ability to pull traits from introverts and extroverts as needed. So depending on the situation or environment, their personality may favor certain traits over the others. And candidly, most of us are ambiverts as we tend to flex based on the environment, our comfort in that particular experience, and our lived experiences. In the boardroom, extroverted personalities tend to dominate decision-making and really drive the conversation. That can be great in terms of leadership, staying on task, and getting to the end of the meeting. These board members are often asked to take leadership roles because of their comfort in leading and directing. They share their opinions freely, sometimes a little too quickly, and they're good at making decisions under pressure. An example that I can share from my experience is working with a collection of schools where we really had to convince the high school leadership to adapt a supportive stance of the elementary and middle schools. And that meant the high schools needed to make a change in how they were communicating around admissions and enrollment. And we had strategy, we had everything approved, but putting it before that audience, when one person, one president, high school president, disagreed very quickly without even getting through the rationale, the others quickly followed suit out of a pattern that had been formed long before we ever walked into the room. So we work through that by actually calling on engaging the introverts. They're the ones that are sitting back, less likely to jump in, and more looking at the risks, the costs of change, and thinking through the connections from the question or the strategy and how that flows out. Now, we know introverts and extroverts don't cleanly fit in either of these categories, but to give you an example on the other end, and when I was taking my first board position from one of those schools, actually one of those high schools that we had a healthy debate with, I think it was my second meeting, and I had what I thought was a far too obvious question about getting feedback from students who had taken their placement tests or been to shadow a current student or attend one of the events. I just assumed that information was known. It just hadn't been shared at that meeting. And since I was new, I didn't have that information. A few meetings later, and after that meeting, I asked the president about it. Candidly, they'd never thought about collecting that feedback, which would have changed the 3 months that followed in my silence, the conversation around admissions and what we thought we knew, and what really was living in the minds of the potential 7th and 8th graders that might come to this high school. So as nonprofit directors, it's your responsibility to manage the dynamics of introverts and extroverts and make sure that all voices are heard. It's important to recognize that that is a diversity of thought and can really impact decision-making. We can't let dominant voices overshadow the insights and expertise of our more quiet or reserved board members, nor can we let the caution of introverts really impede or create friction for really big ideas or discussion around big ideas and opportunities. Understanding the personalities on our board helps us create a more inclusive, dynamic, and draws on the strengths of everyone. So managing this dynamic is very important. We can make better decisions, improve collaboration, and achieve your nonprofit's goals more effectively. So thank you for joining today. Be sure to check out more Mission Multiplier videos at wearefieldtrip.com/nonprofits.